What does it take to be the most feared predator in history? Being fast or strong isn't enough. You have to be a true hunting machine, and being at the top of the food chain isn't just a title, it's a daily battle for survival. Sounds glorious, right? But there's a surprising puzzle in all of this. If being a predator is so advantageous, why are they almost always smaller than their prey? The answer lies in the very nature of life. Herbivores feed directly on plants, but predators only get a small fraction of that energy. This means that on average, hunters need to be craftier and deadlier, making up for their smaller size with brutal weapons, powerful jaws, sharp claws, and team hunting tactics. But every once in a while, evolution surprises us with a predator that breaks all the rules, taking the hunt for large prey to its highest level. And a few thousand years ago, the Earth was home to one of the most impressive carnivores in history, a hunter so specialized that it took on the largest beasts of its time, the true king of the Ice Age. The Smilodon, the fearsome saber-toothed cat. With its imposing appearance and gigantic saber-like fangs, the Smilodon is one of those extinct creatures almost everyone knows or at least recognizes. This fame has been fueled by its portrayal in popular films like Ice Age. However, what many people don't know is that when it was first discovered over 160 years ago in Brazil, paleontologists didn't immediately realize it was a cat. In fact, at first, they thought they had found a giant hyena. This mistake occurred because the first fossils they found were isolated molar teeth, which resembled those of modern hyenas. Based solely on these teeth, scientists thought they had discovered a type of hyena and quickly named it Neoga hyena. Luckily for the Smilodon's legacy, it didn't take long before more fossils were found. Within a few years, dozens of skeletal parts came to light, including foot bones, skull fragments, and, most strikingly, giant fangs that seemed too large to fit in the mouth of this creature. With the discovery of these new fossils, paleontologists realized they weren't looking at a hyena, but rather a completely new genus of felines. Not only was this feline large, but it was enormously robust compared to any modern cat. That's how they decided to rename it Smilodon populator, where Smilodon means knife tooth in honor of its fangs, and populator roughly translates to the destroyer, or the one who brings devastation, a name that fits perfectly with the lethality of this predator. If you like what you are watching, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our future content. It really helps support the channel and keeps us bringing you more quality content videos like this one. Now, let's get back to it. This name change also led to more research into what kind of feline the Smilodon actually was, a question still being studied today. Currently, paleontologists place it in an extinct subfamily known as Machairodontines, which includes most of what we commonly call saber-toothed tigers. Although, to be more accurate, it would be better to call them saber-toothed cats, as this group isn't closely related to tigers or any other modern cat. In fact, its closest relatives would be within the family of modern felines, though the Smilodon is classified within a special group called dagger-toothed cats, due to the sharp and elongated shape of its canines. This group is small and only includes 5 known genera, making it a rather lonely branch in the feline family tree. Over time, the number of Smilodon species has grown, not so much due to the discovery of new genera, but through the identification of new species within the genus Smilodon. Today, 3 types of Smilodon are recognized: Smilodon populator, Smilodon fatalis, and Smilodon gracilis. If one were chasing you, you probably wouldn't care which was which, but there were some notable differences between them, one of the most important being when they lived. Smilodon gracilis was the oldest, evolving in North America around 2.5 million years ago from a more primitive ancestor known as Meganterion. Then, around 1 million years ago, Smilodon fatalis appeared, followed finally by Smilodon populator, which emerged about 600,000 years after the fatalis. Another key difference between the 3 Smilodon species was their size, with each one being larger than the last. So Smilodon gracilis was the smallest, while Smilodon populator took the crown as the giant of the group. But don't be mistaken, despite the differences between them, each of these species was immense compared to today's feline standards. In fact, some specimens make Smilodon one of the largest known cats to date. Paleontologists believe that Smilodon gracilis likely weighed about the same as a jaguar, the 3rd largest cat on Earth today. Meanwhile, Smilodon fatalis was a bit bigger, with individuals reaching sizes similar to an African lion, but with one important difference: they were much heavier due to their more robust muscular structure, reaching an average weight of 280 kilograms, similar to that of large tigers, the most imposing cats we have today. But things become even more striking when we talk about Smilodon populator, which was ridiculously large. The largest bones we know of, like an exceptional skull, indicate a maximum body weight of around 470 kilos, over 1,040 pounds, putting it on par with a medium-sized polar bear, the largest land carnivore on Earth today. What's curious about the Smilodon is that, according to studies, it didn't exhibit a high level of sexual dimorphism, meaning that males and females were generally of similar size. In other words, there were many large individuals. Given its size, it's widely accepted that Smilodon was a top predator in every environment it inhabited, but Smilodon didn't stand out just because of its size. As we mentioned earlier, this prehistoric cat was extremely robust. This was not a feline interested in hunting small prey. Its thick, sturdy bones, covered in life with enormous amounts of muscle, indicate that it was built to take on much larger prey. One of the most fascinating indicators of its power was its heel bone, which was not only extremely strong, but also unusually long, suggesting that Smilodon was an excellent jumper. It probably used its impressive leaping ability to pounce on large herbivores. While no one can know for sure how far it could jump, it's speculated that it may have outdone the modern lion, which has been observed leaping over 4.5 meters, 15 feet vertically. Another area where Smilodon excelled was in its forelimbs. All big cats have powerful front legs designed to pin down prey as they struggle to escape, but Smilodon took this to the next level. Its forelimbs were 20% thicker than scientists would expect for a feline of its size, giving it immense strength even greater than that of larger cats like the American lion. With its powerful muscular arms, Smilodon could have easily pinned down massive prey, and its power was further enhanced by its fully retractable claws. But these claws weren't like those of a modern lion or tiger. Though sharp and curved, Smilodon's claws were oversized in proportion, much like many other parts of its body. Reconstructions have revealed that these claws were twice the size of those of a Siberian tiger, and even longer than the claws of a Kodiak bear, which can weigh twice as much as an adult Smilodon. These claws, clearly capable of easily cutting through flesh, were more designed to immobilize large animals than to cause damage, as Smilodon's true weapon was even more fearsome: its infamous saber teeth. Smilodon's iconic fangs weren't unique to this species. In fact, similar saber teeth have appeared in other mammals and even non-mammal animals throughout evolutionary history. So why is Smilodon the most famous of all saber-toothed animals? The answer lies in the length of its fangs. Like its claws, Smilodon's fangs were oversized compared to other predators, so much so that they clearly protruded from its mouth, something quite rare among saber-toothed felines like Homotherium. These fangs could reach up to 20.3 centimeters in length, making them the longest saber teeth of any known feline. But they weren't just long, they were also designed to be incredibly efficient. The fangs had sharp tips, and their sides were smooth and narrow, which concentrated a tremendous amount of force at the tips. This allowed the Smilodon to inflict deep, catastrophic wounds with deadly precision. Surprisingly, this efficient design allowed Smilodon to survive with a bite that wasn't as powerful as other big cats. In fact, studies have found that Smilodon had a bite force of about 1,000 newtons, which is 4 times less than that of a lion. This weakness was also reflected in the structure of its fangs, which were thin and fragile. This shows that a good piercing weapon doesn't need tremendous force to be effective. However, it led paleontologists to ask, how did Smilodon kill? Since its teeth couldn't easily attack just any part of the body, various theories about its hunting method emerged. One popular idea is that Smilodon used ambush tactics in dense vegetation to sneak up on its prey. Once in position, it could pounce on its target, pin it down with its claws, and then sink its fangs into the soft abdomen of the prey, causing devastating damage to internal organs and leading to massive blood loss. Though this technique is brutal, many researchers have questioned this hypothesis, leaning instead toward the grim idea that Smilodon used quick, forceful attacks or deep bites to tear into the throat of its prey, causing severe blood loss, asphyxiation, and other unpleasant effects. Additional studies have also revealed that its jaw could open up to 120 degrees, nearly twice what humans can manage, meaning practically any neck was on the menu. These teeth, combined with its claws, made Smilodon a fearsome predator. But its success wasn't based only on physical strength. Scans of its brain cavity suggest it had excellent coordination, a sharp sense sense of hearing and impressive vision backed by the shape of its eye sockets, which implied binocular vision. And as if that weren't enough, it seems Smilodon was also very fast. A significant percentage of them had trauma to the sternum, which is usually associated with high-speed collisions with their prey. These traits, along with its impressive natural weaponry, allowed it to hunt a wide variety of megafauna, which varied depending on the region each Smilodon lived in. For example, in North America, typical prey included extinct giant bison, camels, Glyptotherium, and occasionally mastodons and Columbian mammoths, the largest animals of the time. Meanwhile, in South America, its prey included Toxodon, several types of Glyptodon, horses, camelids, and even caimans. While we know some of these animals were definitely part of its diet based on skeletal evidence, we don't know for sure which was its primary prey. This mystery also hinges on whether Smilodon was a social creature, as hunting in groups would suggest the possibility of regularly taking down larger prey. One of the strongest pieces of evidence we have for its social behavior comes from the La Brea tar pits in California. These sites are known as predator traps, where when one animal gets stuck, many predators often get trapped alongside it as they attempt to snag an easy meal. This has led to 90% of the bones found at La Brea being from predators, and Smilodon is actually the second most common find in these traps, with over 160,000 fossils attributed to it. This high number has convinced many that Smilodon lived in groups. In modern cats, the more social species tend to respond more to distress calls, suggesting that Smilodon was highly sensitive to such danger signals, indicating group hunting behavior. Another intriguing idea is what some have called pseudo-care. Certain paleontologists have noted that many Smilodon specimens show extensive trauma or anomalies that should have led to death, but these individuals survived. A popular example is an individual with signs of hip dysplasia from youth that still survived into adulthood. Of course, there are those who argue that Smilodon was more of a lone wolf, pointing out that skeletons found outside of predator traps tend to be more isolated. Whatever the case may be, Smilodon was undoubtedly one of the most dominant predators of its time, although it wasn't the only one. Smilodon didn't rule its domain alone. It shared its habitat with several iconic predators. Among the most important were the American lion and the dire wolves. Isotopic analysis has shown that these predators had a diet very similar to that of Smilodon, making them its main competitors. Although dire wolves had the advantage in numbers and American lions in size, Smilodon seemed to handle itself quite well against them, perhaps thanks to its imposing presence, which would likely intimidate any rival. Regarding the American lions, it's most likely that both predators tried to avoid each other, but occasional encounters were inevitable. In those confrontations, the outcome could be uncertain. On the other hand, competition with dire wolves seemed to favor Smilodon. Remains found in La Brea indicate that these wolves often gave up their own prey to the Smilodon, which devoured it, leaving only the bones. In addition to the cats and dogs, there were also giant bears, such as the short-faced bears, which could outweigh even the largest Smilodon, reaching sizes that rivaled some dinosaurs. However, these massive mammals had more omnivorous diets, which probably reduced tension between the species. They were also more solitary, so if a Smilodon was not in a group, a bear likely wouldn't dare to attack, leaving carrion for the cats to feed on. Speaking of carrion, an interesting question arises. How did Smilodon eat with those enormous fangs? Due to its peculiar dentition, it couldn't feed from the front like most animals. Instead, its fangs had a blade-like shape, allowing it to cut through flesh with a sliding motion, much like a caracal. These teeth were located on the sides of its mouth, enabling it to consume chunks of meat with its head turned, avoiding the obstruction caused by its fangs. Interestingly, this technique is still visible in some felines and other predators today, showing that when something works, there's no need to change it. Despite being the youngest of the saber-toothed cats, Smilodon achieved widespread distribution in the Western Hemisphere. In North America, Smilodon gracilis and fatalis had an almost universal range, reaching as far north as Alberta, Canada, and spanning both coasts. In South America, fatalis and populator were also widely distributed, establishing dominance as far south as Patagonia. Not only were they excellent at expanding, but they also adapted to various biomes, as as remains indicate their presence in grasslands, forests, savannas, and mammoth steppes. With such an impressive distribution, it's no surprise that this apex predator lived alongside a plethora of other fascinating species, including short-faced bears, ground sloths, glyptodonts, toxodonts, camels, deer, horses, terror birds, and various canids, crocodiles, and snakes. Additionally, it's possible that humans encountered Smilodon around 25,000 years ago. Since our diets likely included similar prey, the relationship between humans and Smilodon was probably tense. Unfortunately for us, only the largest species, Populator and Fatalis, remained at that time. This made coexistence difficult, and because Meganon, the ancestor of Smilodon, was known to occasionally kill Homo erectus, it has been proposed that some unfortunate humans may have also fallen victim to these felines. However, thanks to our superior technology, humans also managed to overcome some Smilodon. While there is no direct evidence of such battles, in 2021, researchers found a petroglyph that appeared to depict a group of humans watching a Smilodon from a distance, suggesting that interactions did indeed occur. Unfortunately, the coexistence between humans and Smilodon was brief. Over time, these majestic felines were erased from history. The youngest remains of Fatalis and Populator are dated to around 10,000 years ago, coinciding with the beginnings of agriculture in some parts of the world. The extinction of Smilodon is a topic surrounded by debate and mystery. Some believe that humans played a role in their disappearance, competing with them and starting fires that led to habitat loss. While most agree that humans were not beneficial to Smilodon populations, there are disagreements about our actual impact. The most common theory holds that the extinction of megafauna during the Quaternary extinction event was the true culprit, as many large animals in North and South America perished. Smilodon, as a specialized hunter, found fewer and fewer prey available. It became a victim of its own success. Having evolved to be the perfect hunter of giants, there simply weren't many giants left. Thus, Smilodon went extinct, unable to adapt to this new world, marking not only the end of saber-toothed cats in the Western Hemisphere, but across the globe. It was the last member of a family that had reigned on Earth for more than 20 million years. And if you thought I had forgotten about another great predator of the Ice Age, fear not. I'm talking about Arctodus, the massive short-faced bear. This formidable carnivore deserves a deep dive, and we'll explore it in an upcoming video in detail. That's all for today. If you enjoyed the video, leave your like and subscribe to support me to create more content. See you soon in the next video.